You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. Wepa! What up, mi gente? It's your boy, Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast. Today, hell yeah, we got some multi-talented folks on deck. This is a creative duo, let me tell you. First up, homie over here is the lead singer and songwriter for a Canadian rock band named One Bad Son. He is also the winner of the 2019 Mad Cave Studios art. Right now, he got that dope series, the co-creator of this dope series from Mad Cave Studios called Nottingham. Oh my God, let me introduce the one, the only, the ultimately talented Mr. Connery Volk. What's popping? How you doing?
Al, that was by far the best introduction I've ever had in rock and roll or comics. Thanks so much, man.
It's the energy, baby. You bring it. And let's bring up your other big bad homie. He is also a comic book writer all the way from Oz. You be battling him like Bad Max. He crazy out there doing his thing. He's the co-creator of Nottingham as well. The one, the only, the very talented David Hazan. How you doing?
Hello.
Are you ready for this match, kiddo? We're gonna start talking, baby. We're gonna start talking.
We're ready.
Talking comic books and music and the bromance over here.
That's the big three.
Yeah, man. That's what it is. So welcome to the show, man. All right, I'm digging it. Thank you for coming on. So let's start getting into origin stories real quick, because this is a duet over here, the dynamic duo of Mad Cave right here. So, Shane, talk to me. Talk a bit about your journey. Where you from originally, your first initial geekdom moment as a young child, if you will. What was it that got you into pop culture, and who introduced it? What was that?
Well,
let me know.
Okay, so Al, I'm from Canada. I'm from like a farm. Very small little place in western Saskatchewan. Anybody looking on a map, look at Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, go 2 hours west and you'll be in some area of where the farm is I grew up on. So grew up out in the prairies, and I got to tell you, I could go very deep into my origin, but we'll start in 1989. That's when I saw it was Batman came out that year. And changed my life, like the movie, right? Like Michael Keaton,
right?
Oh yeah. So that was like, I was into comics and shit at that, like, as a little kid, but that was the time I was like, holy shit, that movie blew my mind. Same year, Ninja Turtles came out. That was like the beginning for me of like really being like, I think that's my shit, So. And then,
can I ask though, as you thinking that this is your shit, did you have a tribe of kids that thought this is their shit too, along with you, or were you the quiet kid that had to kind of like can't geek out in public?
I was like, it's such a small little place that I'm from, so my friends weren't super into comics and stuff, so that was kind of my jam. But you know what? Get into the music side of things, and it was moving into the early 90s is when like the whole Seattle scene hit. I moved into my teens, and then that really took over for me. And yeah, man. So I had a lot of friends into music, but I always was like, just my geek side was kept pretty private. So my parents would take me up to the city every now and then and drop me off at a little comic book shop. And I would just geek out in there for a couple hours. So
that's cool, parents. That's support, man. That's love right there.
Yeah, dude.
That's fantastic.
They supported me in everything I've ever done in my life. So nothing but gratitude to those two.
Let me tell you, my mother paid me in comic books, to babysit my brothers. So I never want their money. I said, nah. Go to the newsstand, just pick up whatever you find. This is what I'm telling you. She used to bring me Savage Sword of Conan, not for my age, but hey, fuck it, that, Transformers, G.I. Joes, I had good shit, man, that she was bringing me. The X-Men.
I love that, man. See, my mom would do the same. She'd go to like the drugstore and just pick up whatever comic book, right? Star Wars, Superman.
The cover's nice.
Whatever. Yeah, it's like,
and that was the excuse. The cover's nice.
Okay. And when you're a little kid, you don't give a shit. You're like, oh, it's Batman. Let's go. you know?
Yeah. Don't you love it?
Yeah.
Let's get to the big man in the building right here, Big Dave. What's popping, kiddo? What about you, man? Where you from, OG? I mean, you OG Oz?
Yeah, I was born in Sydney, and now I live in Melbourne, Australia.
What does that mean
My
to us Americans when you say from Melbourne to Sydney? Is that like east to west, north to
uh,
south?
it,
What?
it's east to also east, but slightly more south.
Okay. So New York to Florida. Gotcha. All
I
right.
mean, it's not a great analogy. Like maybe geographically, it's a good analogy, but Melbourne is kind of like it's kind of like Sydney's like more hipster twin, is what I would say.
Hipster twin.
Um, but yeah, my journey into nerddom, I think, really started when somebody sat me down and made me watch Star Wars, and that was kind of the rabbit hole moment for me.
Wait, you said made you sit down. Did you not want to
I
watch
mean,
it?
I don't know. I don't recall being particularly like having an opinion either way until someone like put it in
Said,
front of me. Is
uh,
and yeah, it was kind of a rabbit hole moment. But like in terms of comics related obsessions, I didn't really start seriously reading comics until the last 4 years.
okay. Wow.
But I remember being obsessed with Smallville, and that was the gateway drug for me, really.
You know what? I never actually watched Smallville.
Look, it's cheesy as hell. It's really goes deep into that kind of like CW teen angst, but in the best possible way. And it's fun to rewatch. But like obviously there's some like really awkward for anybody who's aware of what happened with the cult situation with some of the actors on that show. Yeah, it's really interesting going back and rewatching it, being like, oh, that's you. Like you're really just terrible person.
So I wish I had you in Rhode Island Comic Con one year. I had my cameraman with me, and I took a break from him. I said, "All right, go ahead, walk around, take film." So he's taking film, and this actor comes up to his camera, asking what he's doing. He goes, "I'm just recording and shit," or nonchalant, whatever. He's like, "Oh, really?" And they're just having this casual conversation, and the actor leaves. He shows me back the video. He goes, "Yo, boy, this guy, it's fucking Tom Welling." I'm like, "What the fuck? Do you not know who this guy is?"
Tom, Tom
He
Welling.
goes, "No."
I,
He's just nothing on the camera, talking into the camera, and he had this smile, like, "Wow, this kid doesn't know who I am."
Tom Welling's though underrated, I think,
Yeah.
and like still yet to get his due. After 10 years of Smallville, man, 10 years on that show must have been rough.
Yeah, right. They tried it with the CW when they did that multiverse joint, if you remember. They
Yeah,
had him for a moment. Not in the
yeah.
suit though. He never got suited up, right? That
Did
was
he
the
No,
get the
thing.
no problem.
he didn't
I
get the suit
I
ever?
think maybe right at the end. I need to go back and watch it again. I think maybe right at the end.
I'm gonna force you to watch it again. That's it. Oh,
10
appreciate it once
seasons.
more.
That's it's a good several weeks worth of my life.
All right, awesome. Check you guys out. So let's get into you, Shane. So what is this guy that's a musician from a band over here entering these art contests? I mean, what the hell's going? So talk about this. So here you are, right? You're doing music. Talk about this band, and what got you so interested in actually trying out when you saw Mad Cave do this announcement?
Well, I was into comics as a kid, and then as I was saying, music kind of took over. So I was always drawing and stuff as a kid, and I did the usual thing when I was like 16, 17. I started like sending work into DC and Marvel because you're like, oh, that's the way you do it.
Yeah.
I, of course, got absolutely nowhere. But then music sort of took over in my 20s, and the band One Bad Son, which we're still going strong. Brand new songs are coming out soon. But
Woo!
so we got into it and things started to like escalate. So we've got a big following here in Canada, and actually did a pretty big tour of the US before COVID. So
I
the
know,
band,
man. You were chilling with some dope bands.
yeah, we've opened for some big bands, like, and it was a good ride for like, and it's still a good ride for like the last 18 years. But I always knew at some point that I'd get back into comics because I love drawing. Like I've always designed shirts for the band and stuff like that. And so I think 2018-ish, probably, I started to say, like, fuck it. If I'm gonna do this, I'm in my late 30s at that time, and I'm like, you gotta get going. Like if you're gonna dig into it, let's go. So I started kind of drawing more seriously, really digging into it and getting into storytelling and all the stuff you need to do. And then the Mad Cave contest came up, and it was 2 weeks before my wedding, I think. And so I was like, I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna have time for this. But my wife, who's the real rock star of this family, she was like, you gotta enter it. Fuck it. Like, do the pages. Yeah, she's the best. She's like, do the pages, get it in. Don't worry about it. Like, and to be honest with you, it was the best thing ever because there's just so much going on right before the wedding that I didn't really have time to like overthink it. I was like, I gotta slam out these pages. So I rocked these 5 pages, submitted it, put it out of my mind, and went about my life. And then and that was in early September. And then in October, I found out, oh shit, I won it, and I'm gonna draw a book. So,
What, man? What was that feeling like?
Oh, dude, the panic set in hard. Because it was the moment. I hadn't realized up until the moment I won the contest that I actually don't know how to draw comics. So I'm like, okay, you better get busy.
Oh shit, we're gonna get into that learning curve in a minute. So about you, Dave, man, talk about that creative spark in your journey, and why.
Well, I kind of got very frustrated of just being a lawyer, and I kind of found comics by accident through some colleagues, and they kind of encouraged me, and I have an obsessive personality. So once I like something, I want to be able to do it myself. So I started writing casually, and I saw this contest and banged out a script for it. Really didn't think much of it. Forgot to submit it until the last day.
Oh wow! Wow.
And then I submitted it and got the email, a couple of months later, and it was pretty wild. And they were like, do whatever you want. We have faith in you. I was like, you shouldn't, but okay.
Oh man! And this was your first try at something pro?
Yeah.
What? Wow!
I mean, in context, I've been writing for a very long time. Just nobody has seen any of that work.
Understood, but I mean, just as an attempt to like, okay, let me put myself out there, and you hit it out the park. Wow, dude! Woo! That goes to the talent. That's awesome. Obviously,
most of it was Shane.
Oh, get out of here! It's a team effort, buddy.
It is a team effort, but
All right, yeah. So talk about that. All right, so you guys are both the winners. So how did this bromance happen then? What's the story of the bromance here?
Well, Man Cave threw us together, and so it was very much a sink or swim kind of bromance.
Oh, really? Oh, man, it was like American Idol when someone put people together where you guys are going to be a group. And but Man Cave was right.
They were right in hindsight. But yeah, we clicked. I think some of the ideas that I had really scratched some itches that Shane had. We're both history buffs in our own ways, and so and I was like, okay, I want to do this through a historical lens. Do the Robin Hood legend, but do it through a historical lens. And Shane was like, all right. Because every time you say, oh, let's do Robin Hood in comics, people are like instantly apprehensive.
Yeah, which I was, because they said, hey, how do you feel about drawing medieval stuff? And I said, well, I don't know how to draw anything, so sure. And then when they said Robin Hood, that was exactly my reaction. I'm like, oh, you know, I don't know. Like, I love Robin Hood, is, you know, the legend and stuff, but I'm like, how excited, like, it's been done a million times. How exciting is that going to be? And then I read David's script and I was like, oh shit, okay, this is like
Ooh,
completely different. Like, the first page is grisly murder. And I'm like, okay, I get into this.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's a musician. So he's gonna get into this stuff. He's gonna start seeing shit like that. It's like, yeah, I'm into this world, baby. You have already the soundtrack in your head, I'm pretty sure, as you draw.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. But it was David's vision, obviously, that like, and yeah, it was absolute luck of the draw that we got put together, but his vision
Wow.
of the story, I was like, that's right up my alley. So um sometimes the universe just puts people together, I think, you know, and then you just have to try to
Tim
knock it out of the park.
Steranko, Tim Steranko calls that psychomagnetism. I spoke to him. Yo, please speak to this man and ask him what that is. He says, whoever doesn't understand you, Al, just tell him to come to me and just ask me. I'll give him a hand. I said, yo, for real, it's just the concept, everything. It is about like-mindedness and energies and connecting. And
Yeah.
obviously, you guys have it because this book is a hit. So for people
I,
that are unawares, we got to talk about that.
I
Like,
believe it 100%, man. Yeah, absolutely.
what is Nottingham?
David, that's yours, buddy.
Yeah, that's mine. Nottingham is the story of the sheriff of Nottingham in a sort of upside down Robin Hood universe, where he's the protagonist and he's a detective hunting down a serial killer who's been murdering the area's tax collectors. And as the story evolves, he kind of puts himself in between all the different power brokers in our medieval version of Nottingham, and things spiral wildly out of his control.
Okay. I mean, it's tax collectors. You know, I don't know if I'd investigate it.
It's his job, man. He's got a job.
He's got to do it.
Like, oh God, oh yeah, fucking case off. He tripped. Oh man, so Shane, did you take it? Where did you get inspiration based on what he was telling you? You know, when you
Well,
were, helping, drawing this stuff.
you know, it was really like like David said, we're both history buffs, and so I pretty well versed in medieval history and that period too. But I am mostly what got the art juices flowing were like the noir parts of it, like the detective parts. Because, you know, when you watch like a medieval movie, no matter how good they are, they're very medieval. You know, it's very like kind of like what's the word? It's like super cliche kind of like.
Yeah.
And this to me, I was like, well, this is cool because it takes place in medieval times, but like it could be a modern story, could have took place in the 30s. Like it's a detective story. And so I really just leaned into my weird, super dark style and kind of let that take over. But kind of
Sick.
he kind of leaned into the especially the characterization of like especially the sheriff, like making him look like what his burdens were, right? He's big and he's lumbering, but he's kind of like stooped over and beat down by life. And you know, not a typical sort of medieval bad guy or good guy, you know, and I wanted that character visually to look like, you know, if he was in a Batman story, if that was James Gordon, that could be a version of him, like somebody that could exist in any kind of time frame. He's really beat down by his past. And I took that approach with the other characters as well, as trying to like visually make them embody the characteristics that David had on the page. So that really got me going because I was like, okay, of course they're going to be wearing medieval clothes and stuff, but can you approach them in a way that's not just like, oh, this is exactly just every medieval thing I've ever seen before, you know? So
Yeah.
that was cool because I got to be, and at the time, no one knew about the book and it was nothing. So really they were like, do whatever you want. So there was no direction in that sense. So it was perfect.
Really nice.
I was particularly intent on like not making the characters, everybody speak like they were Grand Moff Tarkin, you know, because almost every medieval thing, everybody speaks in this kind of like stilted, almost Shakespeare-inspired kind of sentence structure. And I was like, no, these people are going to sound like real people today. for the most part. Except for everybody except for Ev, the sheriff is kind of way more dramatic than the sheriff, and everybody kind of and he kind of reflects that dramatism, but he's the straight man. If this were a comedy, he'd be the straight man in the comedy, you know.
Okay. Gotcha. Wonderful. Look at and where does this idea really come from with this angle of the noir for this particular universe?
My own cynicism, I guess. So Matt Cave asked me for a noir, and they asked for something offbeat, and I was like, what if I did something medieval? And then it kind of, I tried to find a context in the medieval setting that would give me a comparison to post-World War II anxiety, which is how the noir genre was born. And so I came across the Crusades, and then Robin Hood was the next logical step. And I was like, well, in this world, like Robin is a nobleman, right? So there's no reason for him to be an altruistic persona. He has to have his own motivation for it, and that kind of led me to what eventually became the world of Nottingham.
Yeah. So, what was you guys' learning curve like in creating a comic?
Well, I'm just naturally very good at it.
I caught on to it immediately.
Yeah.
And like everybody looks at their old work and thinks, oh, like these are all the things that I could have made it done better. But I just think it was the right idea at the right time with the right people, you know. Our fantastic editors, Chris Fernandez and Brian Hawkins, and like just working with Shane and kind of like Shane figuring out what he likes to do, what he can do, what he can't do, and getting that feedback and trying to work together is kind of how we both learned how to do this, I think, if I can speak for you, Shane.
Oh, absolutely, buddy. And that is the thing. I mean, there's, you know, as an artist, you find out, well, there's nothing I can't do, but there's a lot of stuff I don't like to do.
and like that's the thing, right? You don't want to be the guy who is asking your artist to do something they don't enjoy, because if they're doing something they don't enjoy, no matter how good they are, it's going to reflect somewhere on the page. And you know, like if I'm writing, you know, for
that'll be the one panel everybody talks about.
I can write a page in let's say, you know, 45 minutes, and Shane spends a whole day drawing it. Like that's just not fair. He's not enjoying what he's drawing.
You see, let's talk about that just for 1 sec. I mean, folks, holy shit! Folks, what you are seeing on screen is how many comic books, bro? Really, of art? You said?
Yeah, 5. That's 5 issues.
That's 5 issues. Do you see that huge ass stack? That's all OG art right there, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Damn.
Yeah, that's all pen and ink.
Yeah. Well, is that top one gone?
Those covers are not for sale, but the rest of the stuff
okay,
the rest of it's for sale. Those covers will stay in my house for a little while, but the rest is for sale on my website now, just because.
We were talking about that in the hey, he goes, everything's for sale, and not that one. Wait a minute.
Well, and you know what? I'll say this, like to David's point, like it's funny as an artist, you know, there's a balance where it's cool to draw the stuff you want to draw, but on the other hand, if you're not being forced to draw stuff that you wouldn't really want to draw, you don't get better, right? So, especially when Dave and I first got together on this, he just threw the story out and I figured it out. And so, I like a level of that going forward as well, because you kind of you learn that like you can't have crowd scenes in every page of every book, and there's a balance there. Well, for volume 3, you get 2 people a page. That's it. But I'll say this: it's like if you kind of like if you're catering, I think, too hard to your artist because he or she doesn't like to draw horses or doesn't. Well, then you're as the artist, you're now handcuffing your writer, right? So it's like
Yeah.
it's a balance of respect, but also like for me, I need to keep growing and to feel like I'm in over my head because that's where growth happens. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's where the learning part is. So
When you
you
get
don't,
scared, when you're most nervous, it's because it's
yeah,
the right thing to do.
that's where you grow, and those are the places you grow. So I think, that's where our partnership has been good too. Because I mean, he's writing the story, and you can't not put stuff in there because your artist doesn't like to draw it. You got to be conscious of not putting too much of that shit in there and making somebody mad. And I think the other way around. I think if an artist
Let's
is
not put a horse in every panel
but I think
now.
if your artist is bitching every time the writer puts something in there, well, what kind of partner are you on the artist side, right? So it's
So how
like,
does that communication work? Because I don't think you guys have ever met in person, right?
what? Yeah, we met
We
at
have now.
yeah, we have now at New York Comic Con.
Oh,
We met.
really? Oh, you guys
Yeah,
are New York NYCC recently?
we were.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I missed
Yeah.
you guys. I was there. I was all over the floors on the press rooms going back and forth. Oh, man. How did you guys enjoy the con and how did you feel finally meeting after
It
having this hit comic out there like that?
It was great. I had a
it was awesome.
fantastic time. Um, it was really lovely getting to hang out and just like hang out and like it not be like it's a convention, but like hang out and not have to like talk about comics in a weird
Yeah.
way. It was really great. Um, and yeah, the signing we did was really fun. And had a good time chatting to folks that liked our stuff. So yeah, I had a great time. It was a
Yeah.
lot. Don't get me wrong, it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
It was your first?
It was my first US convention. Yeah.
Yeah, mine
Okay,
too.
wow. Really?
We're
Really?
green. We're brand new to the whole thing, man. We
Oh, wow. Look at these guys. What? Holy shit. Got this dope comic doing it to rock stars, yo, for real. This is great. I mean, so of course people are going to go line up for this book. I have people I know from other shows that love Nottingham, like fell in
That's
love
awesome.
with every. I got to make sure that I dial you in with them because they're going to express extreme love for the
Awesome.
book. I mean, of course,
Well,
you were my cave. They know what up.
yeah, absolutely, man. And I think there's a bit of a gift in being so new for both of us. Even still, like we're now getting more work under our belt, but like I don't think David or I'll s- you can cut me off, David, if I'm speaking for you too much, but I feel like we didn't really have anything on it coming into it. Like I had no preconceived notions, or like I haven't really read a ton of comic books, like in like a fan way, like where I just have
Yeah.
stacks that I read. So it was like coming in fresh, not feeling like, oh, this is how comics look today, and I gotta like get to. It was just like you gotta. It all kind of happened quick. Get your shit together, figure out how to draw the stuff, and kind of tuning out the noise because there's so much out there, and there's purists that well, book's got to look this way or that way. I've had people message and be like, "Well, your lines aren't clean," and like, it's not how it should be. And I'm like, "Well, there is no how it should be. It's fucking art,
Yeah, exactly.
So
It's
it's like,
art. Yeah, it's wow, wow.
but you
Fucking
know what I
fuck
mean. So
you
it's
assholes. Yeah, fuck
yeah,
those
man.
assholes.
But it's been like, and that's honestly been a
Out
very
of
rare
here.
few because people have really embraced the book, and I've had a lot of people embrace my art, which is great. But to my point, cool to come in. It's cool to come in and not have the weight of like what you're supposed to be doing or achieve.
Yeah.
We just came in and fired away, and like people responded to it. So
I
super
mean,
cool to do
would
it
they
that
say
way.
that shit to Businkevich, you know?
Well, I'm sure. Hey, I think
Huh?
in '84, I think they did.
They
Yeah,
did
right.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot.
Really? Oh wow,
Same with
bullshit.
Mignola. Like Mignola did some fill-in issues on like
Yeah.
X Force and shit like that. And I
Yeah.
don't think you put
Oh,
Mignola next to like Rob Liefeld, and I think the Liefeld fans probably fucking hated that shit.
unfortunately, yeah, there's a great documentary that's out right now about
not
Mignola. Great, great
not
documentary. You guys
enough
gotta check out.
pouches.
I love that he at least joked on himself and made Pouch Man. Have you seen that
Yeah,
character?
yeah. Hey, and I'll tell you what, I love Liefeld because when he came, anything different, there'll always be haters. But if
Yeah.
you're not different, you get lost in the shuffle pretty quick.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because you guys are rockstars. What's in the future, for Nottingham here? I mean, what's going on?
Okay, so starting in February, we have Tales from Nottingham, which is an
Ooh.
anthology series
Ooh.
where we've the first story is from myself and Shane, and we've taken bits and pieces of characters' backstories, different mysteries, like one-off mysteries that I had ideas for, and apart from the one that we're doing, we farmed them out to the winners of Mad Cave's 2021 talent search.
Ooh.
And then the final story will be the bridge between volume 2 and the upcoming volume 3, which I am working on now, and hopefully Shane will get to work on real soon. And that is written by the incredibly talented Max Visaggio of Eternity Girl and
Oh wow. So
Super cool.
yeah, and Vagrant Queen and all of that. So we've got a bunch of different stories. Everybody's favorite characters are going to get a little moment, maybe a bigger moment than they've anticipated. So it's gonna be a good time.
are you
Um,
are you excited for all this work coming at you, Shane?
Yeah, because it's I love it, and I mean I love like this world is great, and I'll be bummed out when I don't get to draw Nottingham anymore. When because at the end of this arc, that might be the end of it. So
No.
well, volume 3, yeah, it might be. Who
it
knows?
might just be the end.
Unless everybody buys the absolute living daylights out of it.
Oh, that's what's got
It
to
might
make
well,
happen.
yeah,
Because I
yeah,
mean,
with my
Volume 1 and 2 available now. You can get that at the Mad Cave Studios
Yep.
website right now. Your local comic book shop. I mean, who doesn't? If your comic shop does not have Mad Cave Studios books, then you're going to the wrong shop.
Yeah.
That much.
Absolutely.
well, ask
Yeah.
them to stock it. Ask them to order it first before you decide you go to the wrong shop.
Yeah, be like, you
Um,
got to get this. And some shops don't listen because some shops don't want to be. Oh, there's only one copy. That man won't send it. Like, oh, whomever they work with. Just make it happen. Even go to another comic shop and pick it up for you if you have to. Shit,
See,
do
Al's
that.
a New Yorker. I love that New York attitude. Like, I'm probably too nice being a Canadian. I'd be like, hey, maybe if you could bring it in. Al's just like, fuck you. I'll just go down the street. I like that.
Hey, we have options. Luckily, like I just came back to the hood in New York recently. I'm happy to see there's actually 2 local comic shops.
Oh, that's great.
Pretty
Yeah, it's
nice. So
great
I
to
was like,
hear.
yeah. So it's nice to see that. Good prices, nice little area. Awesome. So I see the other one I haven't gone to. Apparently, it's bigger, back issues, and that's my crack. So I don't want to. It's dangerous for me to go to a back issue comic shop. If I find a dollar box, it's like, oh my god, let me get 2 boxes. That's the good stuff. So I mean, how do you feel now though? Because I know you you guys weren't the biggest fans. Do you guys now have turned into fans? Do you guys collect anything now? Because just being involved in the industry too, does that change your fandom in any way?
I mean, my fandom is more about story than collecting. And God bless all of the collectors out there,
Okay.
because without you guys, a lot of this would be a lot harder. So I appreciate that area of the fandom. I don't quite understand it, but I'm very appreciative of it.
Yeah, man. Well, they're gonna start making you sign stuff, and what CGC is worth more. You gotta have
Uh, we
pictures,
we
DNA,
had our first
blood.
CGC witness
Oh,
at New
really? You
York, so
did
that
that?
was nice.
Oh
How was
yeah.
Yeah,
that? Oh, how was that for
that was
you guys? Like,
cute. That
holy
was
shit!
cute.
Right? Like, oh shit! Look at this guys. We're gonna be serious players, son. We CGC now. So funny. I don't slap my books. I can't do that. It feels like a prison for the books. I'm good.
Yeah,
You know
absolutely,
what?
man.
I kind of agree with that too. I'm just like, this
Yeah.
thing is meant to be read. All of my work is on the inside, you know?
Yeah, right. Shane gets all the fucking
I
cool
All the
looking.
glory.
like
Who
you just
cares
want hey,
about David? Right?
you just want to look at that pretty cover every day. Fuck it, do it. That's up to you.
At least it has your name on the cover, David. All right. At least it has that. No matter what, they can't deny. All right, that's what I'm saying, bro. Awesome, awesome. I can't wait. So there's three more things here. So if you guys could manifest this to be anything outside of a comic, I know that's not the plan for a lot of kids, but if by chance anything could happen in life, would you like this to be an animated series, a TV show, a movie?
I think
What?
it's kind of ultimately perfect for TV.
I think so too.
Um, like I would, I'd see, I could see it expanding into like police procedural with like the story of that we've done being the like overarching plot of an entire season. Um, yeah,
Mm,
I think TV is kind of the perfect place for this one.
he's thought
Yeah.
about this already.
He's
I think
pitching.
about a lot of things, none of which ever come to pass, but I still think about them.
No, but you got to make them happen, right? Now you got to manifest. Look, you guys made this happen, right? You guys tried. You had good people on your side supporting you. So just keep listening to those good voices.
Well,
Because you guys are awesome.
yeah, man, it seems to be working to this point, right? So,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'm with David. I think like TV's it would probably be the most logical place. Though you could make like each arc could be a hell of a movie. Like if they did a movie right, it would be pretty. You
Yeah.
could do a pretty epic movie. Um, but yeah, the TV route seems right because you can really just like let a story breathe and expand and do its thing on TV.
Yeah.
Like a limited
Hey.
series would be sweet. But also, hey, animation would be pretty cool too.
Oh hell yeah! 'Cause,
Yeah.
shit. Fuck yeah! Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Make everything happen. Can we get swag? Is there Nottingham swag too that we could get or what? Like
There,
t-shirts and stuff.
David, is there still? They had
I
T-shirts
don't
and stuff
know.
like that.
I had a t-shirt. I don't know. I'm gonna get some stuff made up.
You
I'm gonna
gotta
get.
get it done, man.
What do you think about like a set of like t-shirts or pins or something that says "Leave no lords, leave no heirs" on it? Because I'd be about that.
See that?
Oh
I'd be
hell
into that.
yeah, yo! Hell fuck yeah, bro! What? That'll be popular. And then you gotta. And then you say, yo, if you wear this T-shirt right now, I'll give you a free issue.
Yeah.
Man Cave
There
can
it
do
is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, wait. Yeah, isn't there a free comic book day one? I'm pretty sure you
Yeah,
can.
there
Yeah.
is. So
That's what
you
I'm
can
saying.
read.
Get a
Yeah.
stack of those and be like, yeah, if you put that on right now, I'll give you this.
Yeah.
Hide
By
the
the
free part
way,
though.
yeah. By the way, if you want to check out Nottingham, this is for your audience. If you want to check out Nottingham and you're on the fence, Man Cave does a bunch of free first issues on their
Ooh,
website,
yes.
mancavestudios.com. And you can grab the first issue digitally for free, and also the free comic book day issue for free as well on that page. So, and I have links to that on my website too. So, come check out a couple of issues, see if you like it, and then pick up those trades because that's how we get to make more.
That's right.
Hell yeah,
We want to make more.
Yeah, we want to see more. Jesus Christ, you got to make it happen, guys. Even more outside of this, because you guys make an amazing team. So let's talk about appearances. Are you guys going to be making any appearances for the rest of the year at any place, any cons, anything?
I don't know if this has been announced yet, but I will be at Melbourne Oz Comic Con on December 10th and 11th as a
Oh,
guest.
awesome. Ooh, awesome. You know your booth number or anything?
Not yet.
Okay,
So,
God, just send that over when we have it so we can show the love. About you, Shane?
I've got nothing for the rest of this year, but I got my name in for a few next year. But things are getting a bit dicey for me now because like the first two arcs really happened during COVID, so music was shut down and I had nothing but time to draw. But now the band is back. We had our first shows in 2 years, like this summer, and so we got
Oh,
new
wow.
music coming out. So that means shows and stuff. So I'm gonna try to hit some cons. But if we're on
Gonna be
tour,
tough.
if we're playing shows, that'll probably take precedence.
Or,
But then, hey,
hopefully, hey, try to tie in a couple of shows to cons appearances, and you
yeah,
cannot
that's
kill two birds. Once have after parties with the band, you knock out shows that way. Think about it.
well,
A
I've been
sneaky
thinking
way.
about like, yeah, absolutely. Just get the band to whatever city the con's
Yeah,
in. I think that's
yeah.
it's a great idea.
If the band's not listening, shush. Sorry, guys, we gotta get Shane because comic geeks need him too. All
Yep.
right, all right.
I just want to see more of those tie-in comics for your like upcoming music, man.
Yeah,
I want to
well,
see
hey,
that.
Yeah, dude. And what up? Any of you guys gonna do San Diego next year? Because
I'm
I don't.
registration is
certainly
open,
considering it.
everything's happening. Dude, well, registration is open as a fan, but you guys definitely need to talk and get the
We're
plans out there.
we're gonna have to talk to Mad Cave about that, David.
Oh, I'm just gonna put in my professional application, and we'll talk to Matt Game about it later. I'm pretty keen. I'd be much happier to go if you were going, but
Well,
There you go,
honestly,
Shane.
yeah, I'd love to hit it up. Absolutely. So it's
A
not
San Diego
100% in the
Comic Con
cards, but
concert. A San Diego
yeah.
Comic Con concert. Think about that. Ooh,
See,
ooh.
David, you're gonna have to learn an instrument so that you can get up on stage with us.
Yeah, you can learn the flute or some shit,
Flute.
just like bringing out this 12 years of violin, but I don't think it would quite fit with
Oh,
how
there
we
we go.
We can make it work. We'll make it work.
Shit. If you guys need me out there, I could do cowbell if you want.
That's perfect. We'll take it.
So, guys, definitely before we go, I just want to say thank you to both of you for being amazing creators. You, Shane, musician, and then look at you flipping, doing the art, sharing your geekdom with us. Thank you for being brave and bold, just like you, David, man. You're doing your things, guys. Y'all putting it out there. You taking chances and on a whim have create something so awesome. So thank you for keeping us entertained as fans. And
Appreciate it, Al.
bless on this journey, guys, because I see nothing but success for you guys. I mean, you're right. You guys murdered it on the first. I can't wait to see what else is coming. You know what I mean? It's gonna be insane, yo. And and yeah, I feel it. I feel the energy, baby.
Well, hey, and
So
Al, thank you, man, because people like you doing these shows, it takes a ton of work, dude, and we really appreciate it because there's a ton of people out there that only want to talk about the big two or whatever. So like anybody covering
yeah,
any indie comics and shit, hey, I just like I know David and I both 100%. We appreciate you, man.
thank you,
It's
thank
huge
you.
what you do. Yeah, much
It's
appreciated.
what Comic Crusaders is here for. It was definitely created with the idea of helping indie and getting them out there and showcasing you guys. And this is what it is because you guys are the future of the industry. One day, you guys aren't indie. You guys are like, nah, but these are like big guys. You mean indie? Kill this motherfuckers right now, huh? Respect. This is what's coming up for you. So I can't wait to see that. So lastly,
Thank you.
advice. And type of advice. So you, Shane, as an artist, type of advice would you give a kid coming up now?
You know what? I would say, I mean, this is like such standard advice, but it's like, it's so true. Like, you got to draw. If you're an artist, you got to draw. Music's the same way. Like, you got to play. You got to just get your stuff out there and do everything you can to get on a pro level. Like, when I started, like everybody else, I wanted to do the big splashes and all the crazy shit, but it's like, you got to learn story. You got to learn, there's a lot to it, and you got to like really bear down and like and get to it. But the biggest thing you got to do is just like put yourself out there. If there is a contest to enter it. If you want to do indie comics and start with a friend just to get shit going, get it out there. And then my last bit of advice, because I would talk about this all day, is like take the criticism, man. Not everybody's gonna love it, but it's entertainment. I was lucky coming into comics because being in music for 20 years, people take their shots, right? But anybody sitting on the sideline, they'll take shots at you. But you're the one in the arena, so get in there, take the heat, get better, never stop.
There we go. What about you, Dave, from that writer perspective?
Yeah, and again, it's like it's the kind of advice that writers will give you all the time, but start small. And this is very much a do as I say and not as I do situation, because kind of like, because well, I'm working on the outlines for issues 11 to 15 for Nottingham. But the reality is that, like, if you can't draw, start small, and do 1-page comics, 4-page comics, 8-page comics, work your way up, talk to editors, see what they're looking for, and go from there, because like, if you're trying to like make your 100-issue magnum opus happen, I'm sorry to tell you, it's just not going to happen. Not in today's economy.
Yeah, man. Ain't that the truth? There we go. Yeah, folks, don't stop. Get it done. Just do it. All right? Do your thing. You seen them.
Yeah.
Look at these guys. They popped off with an amazing story with Mac Cave Studios. Big salute. So this is what we need you to do today, folks. We need you to get your copies of Nottingham at mancraftstudios.com or your LCS, all right? And you better get that pull list for the next arc that's coming, all right? Get that going. Tell them you want it now, and you want every variant issue cover that's there. You got to make David very happy here because he loves those guys that buys the variants and all that good stuff. All
And they're
right.
so pretty too. The variants are so pretty.
They
They
are.
are. They are.
Yeah.
They're amazing looking. So that's what you got to do. So visit the website at mancraftstudios.com, LCS. You could even, like David said, he pimping them on the site too. So you could visit David's website at davidhazan.com. I think Shane doing the same thing at Connery Volk.com. He pimping everything there: the music, books, swag. Download, listen to the music right before the show. Before he popped on, I was just bopping my head, feeling that energy. Good music, son, for real. Salute.
Thanks, Al.
Are
Appreciate
you
it.
coming to New York in that tour that you guys thinking of, or what?
We played New York on our big US tour. We did a show down there, but we'll be back. We'll be back now that things are kind of picked back up again. Oh yeah, we'll be in New York,
Excellent,
buddy. Don't
excellent.
worry.
Yeah, I want to be there definitely.
We'll let you know.
If you guys not about mosh pits and you see a Puerto Rican mosh pitting, it's me. I'm sorry. Okay. Make sure to check out David's website, davidhazan.com. Shane at shaneconneryvolk.com. You can follow Shane on Twitter at Shane C. Volk. All right, follow David right there on Instagram and Twitter at David T Hazan. Everything's below, folks. I gotta add David's stuff. He was surprised. I thought my podcast was getting hijacked when he came on. I said, "Oh my God, what's going on here?" He scared me. But this is
It's
awesome,
a beanie
bro.
Australian.
Hey, we have a boy. Shane, we have a boy. Look at it. Came out bearded and everything, ready to take on the world. Love it. Hey, and see, Big Brown guy may have missed. He's like, is there any comic events he goes the Shaner has coming up?
Oh, that's the yeah. You know what, Dean? I have nothing this year, like I kind of mentioned before, but there's gonna be stuff. I just have to see if it works around music. So yeah, absolutely. I will have comic stuff coming up. And I've threatened this before. If I can't make it to any conventions, I'm just gonna like sell books out of my trailer. So
Hey, why not? As part of the merch, you have your own mini con.
that's right.
Shane Con, I'm about it.
Yeah, dude.
Hey,
David will be there. All right, we got two.
There we go. Let's do it. If you come to New York, I'm there. Don't you? I'll pop up from under the table telling people, buy this right now, son. This is the greatest thing in the world. I got you. I'll be your salesman. I got you. I got you. I got the New York hustle. Don't you worry. All right, folks, you know what it is, yo. As usual, the author tells you what to do. Shane, you've been awesome. David, you've been awesome. Thank you guys so much. Dig the energy. And what was that? Will the Monday night drawer be back?
Oh, so I have I haven't done it.
What's this?
Well, I haven't done it in a while, but I have a live drawing Monday called Midnight Drawer.
Ooh, wait a minute. Where do you do this? How dare you let me almost end the show without you telling me that you do something that cool? So talk about that. What's the channel where we gotta go?
So if you go to YouTube, you can just find my Shane Connery Volk. Just search it on YouTube or search Midnight Drawer. I got 39 episodes up there, and I haven't been able to do it just because of music and stuff. But I promised to do some episodes before Christmas. So there you go. Just check out Midnight Drawer. I'll be there.
Thank you, Big Brown guys. Huge salute to you.
Spruik your Patreon while you're at it, because that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, well I got my pay. You see, yeah, I need David to
writer and also
right
Shane's assistant. So.
Yeah, David is pushing my Patreon because he gets a cut everybody that signs up.
Hey, he gets some of that cheese.
What's
on the Patreon? What's going on there?
Yeah, so patreon.com/Shane Connery Volk. I have like lots of behind the scenes art stuff, some videos and that. I did a comic on there, like I wrote and drew just for my patrons. Right. Yeah. Just lots of cool stuff like that. Tons of behind the scenes Nottingham stuff. And David Hazan is there. So you can also ask David questions because, he pops in.
Hey, there you go.
Pop in every now and again.
Yeah, but thank you, Big Brown Guy. I appreciate you for bringing that up. If not, we would have left here never knowing my audience how awesome Shane is and the dope stuff that you guys do inside. So thank you. That's dope. So all right, guys, now you know what it is. I just told you what to do. Follow these guys. Everything's at the bottom. Much love, Shane and David. Hasta la próxima. You know what it is, mi gente. All right? Follow everybody in my family. Cheers. Big Huepa. Later. Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.